Hey, folks, just a friendly reminder that all shows on the Madness Comic Network are produced by their individual hosts and in no way reflect the opinions of the network as a whole. The statements in the following broadcast are not necessarily the opinions of the Madness Comic Network, its staff, sponsors, or contributors. This show is rated TVMA, as are all of them and all those other letters. Viewer discretion is highly advised, and, just do what Doc says. Read that again. Peace.
The future. The final frontier. It has never been so uncertain as now. AI, VR, haptic wear, nanotechnology, mass destruction with a remote click. Now we are finally seeing the true potential and dangers of an ever-connected and overly policed hyper-technological world. Have we finally become the architect of our own demise? Is there still hope? Welcome to the future. Welcome to Punk Droid.
Flip City Magazine is just really pulling out all the stops, man. Your guys' production value of this magazine has gone insane. I mean, look at that. I mean, I remember when you guys, it was black and white. Even when it was black and white, I thought your quality was great. But damn, they just really stepping it up a notch. Look at this. James Corbett, boys. James Corbett.
Genuinely cutting. But also funny, and obviously just chaotic and very fun.
I love Flip City. It has brought new types of badassery and integrity to the print medium.
The writer and creator of numerous comic books and graphic novels, including Nightmare World, Tales of Mystery, Brave But Not Dead, all kinds of stuff. And I am super excited for you because you are getting to watch right now, right this moment, out of all the things we're going to be doing, you're getting to enjoy and revel in the Madness Comic Network. And that is awesome. Thank you for being here.
Oh, what's up? What's up? What's happening, everybody? Welcome to another, holy crap, 100 and something, who knows how many of these Monday Madness. Like Dirk said, thanks for being here. We got a bunch of people popping off in the chat. We got people in the backstage. Today is about the madness. People in the madness. People that have been with the madness for a while. One of them, you guys know, he's been a co-host of CromCon and had his own show for well over a year now on the Madness, and we're gonna bring him out here.
So just sit right down, relax, open your ears real wide, and say, "Give it to me straight, doctor. I can take it."
Kick the chops out from under the wheels. Flaps up. No offense, Margaret. Contact. We're off. Brum, brum.
Doctor, doctor, give me the news. I got a bad case of loving you.
Oh, what heights we'll hit. On with the show. This is it.
I object, Your Honor. Oh, hi.
Don't call me Your Honor, Your Honor.
The doctor is in, baby. What's going on, Pops?
It is all action. And we have somebody very special to introduce our next guest. Hold on just a second.
Mr. Chris, what up?
Mr. Chris, what up?
How's it going?
Hey, I know that
guy. I am about as special as they get. So,
how would you like to have Chris Kale introduce you every time you came out on the show? That would be...
That does seem pretty cool.
Yeah, I timed that well, didn't I? Hey, Chris, what up? For those of you who don't know, just Chris Brown, not that Chris Brown,
not
from the Laughing Rogue. He is the Laughing Rogue. And, man, we got a lot to talk about today, guys. A lot. First, we're going to pop over in the chat and say hi to everybody. Banta. She said, Heta. You are not a Heta.
This is not a Heta group.
But we all yelled Fanta back anyway because we knew what she was saying. We knew. We got Nikki.
Nikki, I've been missing you. It's good to see you in the chat.
I'm going to say she looks salty. I'm just saying. Fanta, Doc, Pops. Now, Fanta, you got to say hi to Chris, too. I know you didn't. Oh, she did.
She did.
Oh, what's up?
Hey, Lou. Captain is in the chat. What's up, Captain Nemesis, Captain Infinity,
It's all action here, people. We already have 42 people watching. A bunch of them are on the Critical Blast Twitter, but what's up, everybody? Welcome to Monday Madness. We are here to talk about half a dozen different things, right?
We got stuff.
Half a dozen.
We got stuff to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Including
it's gonna be like a 3-way interview.
Well, that includes, by the way, a collaboration.
Yeah.
A forthcoming collab between the master of the tabletop game and the master of the noir.
Are you claiming that title, Doc? The master of noir?
I am, damn it. I'll take it. I ain't scared. I take all comers. Come on.
And I will say, I totally agree with bestowing that on Chris, because not only does he make awesome tabletop games, but I don't know, you guys seen the demos, the tabletop demo games that we're doing on Thursday morning? Chris knows how to play all these freaking games. He's got them all, plays them all. Master of the tabletop, it belongs to anybody. I'll give that to Mr. Brown for sure.
I don't deserve.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
But you notice he won't give me Master of the Noir.
Oh no, I asked you if you were claiming that.
You're damn right, Cap.
You said, yeah, I'm not going to argue with you.
Should be accompanied by a novel or at least a novella.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness.
Now, as a writer, I know doing that aside from the comic had to been fun, right, Doc?
I love writing. Yeah. I love it just as much as drawing or painting or any of the other stuff I do.
There you go, right there.
All right, I'm going to say this from Jump Street. I've been sitting at 22 backers for 24 hours. We need some movement.
Mm-hmm.
Share the campaign out. I'm going to drop the link to it. Share it out.
I had to drop it right there.
Poke one of your friends and say, hey, this guy's fat. He needs food. Let's back his book. Jesus Christ, what's the brother got to do to get a McRib?
How much? Yeah. Tell me if you recognize it. How much for one rib?
Yes.
That was my favorite movie growing up.
There was a skit that was the guy goes in and says, how much for whatever, and they said the price. He goes, good God Almighty, how much just to let me smell it?
Yeah.
All right, so for those of you who don't know, Doc launched the other day. Right, launched Damn Dirty Thing. People got on right away and got up to 20 backers, and then just kind of slow down. We don't want it to slow down. We need people to keep talking about it. For those of you who did back it, just because you backed it, that doesn't mean your job's over. You got to tell your friends you backed it and tell them why.
Yeah, here's the funny thing. After I launched my first book, Pariah, and it was fulfilled, then all of a sudden I had people reaching out. Oh, I didn't know you were doing this. Where can I get one? Blah, 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 blah. So I told them. And then I said, well, would you like to stay up to date on all the stuff? Yes. So I gave them the sign up. They signed up. And then I start blasting them with the link to the campaign.
Mm-hmm.
My buddy, and these are my military buddies from back in the day, by the way. Mm-hmm. Only the sharpest knives in the drawer. One of them goes, what's this? Scroll back up in our conversation, Scooter. That's what it is. Talking to you, Ian. If you're listening.
Oh, straight up calling him out by name.
Let
That's
me tell you something. I'm going to say his whole name because my buddy that I served with, we also played in a band together. And you tell me if this isn't the best God-given rock and roll name you've ever heard in your life. We used to introduce him, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Ian Fogg. His God-given real name is a stage name.
It definitely worked for sure.
Yep. So talking to you, Ian.
Which one of you guys wants to go first? Because I got videos to show and campaigns to promote. And first off, for those of you who don't know, Chris, tell them.
Oh, I'm sorry. I wish. Yes, Big Sexy Outdoors. We have that on tonight at 9:00. God, Ben's actually coming here tonight because he happens to be in town. So we're gonna be broadcasting live from the studio, which is really just my kitchen table. The magic, right?
Hey,
I just shared out the a darn dirty thing.
So it's a gosh darn dirty thing.
I put that out. That's what I was doing. Sorry.
I appreciate you too.
And that's also the title for Doc's show on Wednesday, a damn dirty show about a damn dirty thing. Remember that, people.
I had to wait, Pops. I had to wait for my dear mother to be passed away
Mm-hmm.
before I could title a book a damn dirty thing.
Right.
She would be over here every day trying to wash my mouth out with soap. You changed the name of that book. No, Ma, come on.
Yeah, it doesn't matter how big you get, you're going to get that ass whooping.
You are darn right. So
yeah, well, Doc, you got to talk to my mom when I was in the hospital.
I did. Your mom is shoe leather and iron,
dude, and sharp as a tack too, huh? At 85, dude.
Oh yeah. She was a hoot. What I would like to talk about first is this collaboration we're about to do.
Sure. All right.
I mean, we're both here. Why not? Chris, I'll let you do the telling on that. I'm even going to move you up into slot A there.
So we are looking at this. This is, honest to God, this is a game that I've been working on for over 3 years now. It is called Scene of the Crime. Now I'm going to just pull up the cover that I have. Present, share, bada boom. And once, did I do something? I'm sorry. And once I saw a damn dirty thing, I'm like, I need art for this. I wonder if Doc would like to do that. Now, this game is 1 to 4 players, as all of my games are at least single, solo, so that you can play by yourself, not with yourself. If you don't have anybody. But did you ever play L.A. Noire?
No.
The video game.
I never have.
Well, it's a noir detective game, and you can pretty much, ask, interrogate suspects, and you find the clues and everything else. Mm-hmm. So what I did with this game is, oh my good Lord in heaven, I started off with a narrative, okay, and it was going to be, you follow through the narrative, right? As you would with a story. Then a friend of mine, Kevin, God bless him, love him to death, he goes to me, all your other games are more replayable. They are, can you make this one replayable? I said, I hate you with an all fiery passion, but he made it better. And now everything is randomized. There's still an overall story. And what you're doing is you're going through a storybook. Like, for instance, I have a place called The Green Room. That's where the mafia are. It's their nightclub bar.
Right.
And naturally there's a blonde chick, red dress, that
of
kind
course.
of, and let's say you find a wedding ring in the green room. Well, you'll have to find out what that means, if it's relevant to the case. But in another game, you might find it at the warehouse, or you might find it in an apartment building. So the fact that everything is randomized and still meshes together is why it's taken 3 years to get to the point where I'm ready to send it for art.
Nice.
This is my magnum opus of storytelling games. It's one I've loved for a long time, and that's why I kept pushing at it. And I know you're going to like it too. There's no question. It's just, in fact, I don't know if I can. And you'll have to forgive me. Can you pull up Word docs on?
Yeah, open it on your screen and then share screen, share entire screen.
Gotcha. Thanks, Snuggle Bears. Okay, that window, case 1. A walk in the park. Now, keep in mind, this is case 1. Case 1 out of 5 or 6 that I'm going to be, because I can put this into different eras, but I wanted the first one to be noir. Now, I don't know if you look, there's 225 pages to this story. And what you're able to do is wherever you find evidence, for instance, let's say you find that ring box, the wedding ring, and you found it at the green room. And you want to ask this guy about it. That is this entry. So you'll have to go here to do that. And there is so much that you're able to do. You're able to ask. You could do whatever you want. And all of these entries with branching paths. Keep going. That's right.
Holy cow.
And then there's more crimes that I have listed down here on the bottom.
Jumping jingles.
Yeah. So I'm gonna need some good art for this one. This is my baby. This is
I will provide the good art, but I gotta ask a question.
Absolutely.
What went wrong in your head to make you want to do this? Like I tried to make my own crossword puzzle one time, and after 10 minutes, I quit.
When my goal with every game that I make is to make it feel like you're living in that world, just like you want with Pariah, and with that, you want them to care about it.
Sure.
I want them to feel the same way when they're playing these games. If you don't feel like you're a gritty detective or you're a reporter, because there's going to be different characters, and you're trying to search through and find all of this evidence. You're trying to interrogate suspects, because there's going to be, and I didn't tell anybody this yet, but there's going to be event cards that, like, let's say you piss off the mob boss. Well, he's going to say, now shuffle these cards into the different decks. So somewhere you've just got a hit put out on you. You don't know where it's coming from.
Oh,
I'm telling you, when this is going to be an adventure of epic proportions.
Awesome.
Psyched. I'm sorry. I'm psyched. I can't.
That's all good. That's all good. Now, let's back up, because I was listening, and you said Big Sexy Outdoors is in town, and tonight you're going to be where?
Oh, we're going to be here in the house, but we are always Monday night, every night. We do Big Sexy Outdoors on YouTube, Facebook.
Okay, all right. So is that the channel, Big Sexy Outdoors?
Yeah, we do hunting, fishing, outdoor stuff, and we've been doing that for, I think, 2 years now. We just passed 800 subscribers. So I mean, hey, we're moving along.
Yeah. So here's what I can attest to. Chris was kind enough to send me a sample pack of his games, and they were play tested here in my home by a bunch of 30-somethings. And it went on all day, and there was much laughing. They had a ball with that game, and it was awesome. It was, you brought joy into my home.
I'm glad. That makes me feel good.
Which one did they play, Doc? Slaughterville?
Yes, they played Slaughterville. And I think they dabbled with the other ones trying to get into it. But, the one game went for so long.
Oh, yeah.
Because they were into it, and they were really enjoying it. So, they added their imagination to it. And all I know is if I was 30, I'd have sat at the table and played along with them.
Dude, I played them all. They're all good, man. They're all good. This one is fun. This one's a ton of fun.
My first book I wrote was by hand, like in a journal thing. But the first one I had published was called Survival, and it's about two guys who are security guards, and they're in a cosmetics factory. And now the owner of the cosmetics factory, cosmetics company, he wants to live forever. And on that night that all this is going on, he's been making deals with demons, with the devil, and all this stuff, and now everything is coming through. These two guys just wanted to sit there and play video games instead of working. But now all of a sudden these things are happening. Naturally, there's a girl involved, and they're just trying to get out.
Some people say that there's a woman to blame.
Yeah,
but it's my own damn fault.
And then after that, I made Slaughterville. That was my first board game, and I've been making that one for over 10 years. Don't get me wrong, I love it. Obviously, I'm still making it, right?
Right.
And then we went to Slaughterville 2, Director's Cut 3. Now we have Gods of Metal. We have Gone Hunting, which is our hunting board game. I made one called The Cult, and I don't have the rights to it because I made it for another company. But that is another choose your own adventure book and that one haunts me. It really truly does, because there was a spot And I was hoping I was going to get to do this, but I wrote out the whole branching story for this one spot that took you to a haunted carnival. Well, the guy said, no, cut that part out. We're going to save that for a sequel. I'm like, no, that's got to be there. He's like, but, that's what he wanted. So right at that spot in the book, it says, you found the carnival to be continued. Go back to this spot. You were turned around. And that hurts me so bad that that's in there, but there's nothing I could do.
Golly. I felt that when you said that. It's like, damn it, man.
Yeah, and that's what also prompted me to do Scene of the Crime, because that's a choose your own adventure with so much involved, and no one's going to stop me from making it the best it's going to be.
There you go. That's, kind of the impetus, I think, for everybody in kind of this extended world that we all live in here to create, is we want to create what we would enjoy, and nobody's going to stop us.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, you're Gods of Metal. You're 1 to 4 players. You take on the role of either the singer, the bass, the drummer, the lead guitar in a heavy metal band. You're standing up on stage trying to defend reality by playing the greatest heavy metal albums in history. You compile these songs. You get a beginning, a middle, and an end. And once that's completed, all of the decibels that your instruments have built up, boom, hit the overlords, and that's how you deal damage to them.
Hey, Bone, welcome.
You can actually see us playing this game live. Just a couple weeks ago, we played it in the tabletop demo, tabletop demo show. You can go see us playing it, see how easy it is to play and how much fun it is. And
it takes, 5 minutes to set up?
Yeah, it's like quick and easy and fun to play, man.
But we do have Christgau in the game now. He's going to be coming since we did Fund. We have Holy Cannibal and Haunted Traitor for bands. We have 2 new Overlords, 6 new Demons, new song cards, metal deck cards to make your band better. There's also a band, and I don't know if you've ever heard of them, called The Art of Deception. They've been starting to tour the country now. But they're actually, not only are they from my town, but the lead singer works with the wife. So she's like, hey, do you want him in there? I'm like, dude, just ask him. See if he wants to show up. I'll throw him in. What the hell?
Yeah.
Dude, we could get the Lunatics Fringe up in here too.
Doesn't hurt. I just need art. That's the only thing I need is art.
They do. They do a comic book of their own. They got plenty of art.
There we go. There was another one now that I want in here called Banshee. You may have heard of the guy that made that, Mike. So I've been trying to get him to let me use Banshee.
I mean, you got 5-Finger Death Punch. That's a pretty big score.
That is absolutely. You know what? And that is the weirdest thing how that came about is because
that's what I want to. That's what I was about to ask. How did that happen?
I had no choice. he sent me that video and he goes, I know who's going to be in there. He's pointing to himself, and I'm like, well, okay then, you are going to be in here. I am not telling you no.
I love it.
And if you haven't seen it, here you go.
Mr. Chris, what up? Also, Christgau from rock and roll band 5-Finger Death Punch. Heard that you're about to launch your newest board game, Gods of Metal, where you take on the persona of different metal musicians to stop the overlords and their demons from taking over reality. I think I know a metal musician that can help you fight those overlords and those demons. That is me, Christgau. So, shout out to you, Chris. Shout out to all of the Laughing Rogue crew. And shout out to Gods of Metal. I will be in there taking over reality from the demons and the overlords. Christgau. Just like it says there on my hat, in case I forget. I do play bass.
Yeah, and that's how it happened.
Outstanding.
I'm gonna be in there. I'm like, yes, sir, you are.
Look. Now, how did he hear about it, though, Chris?
I reached out to a lot of bands. I reached out to Poison, to Kiss, to Alice Cooper, everybody, and they got back to me. And sure enough, they like it.
I love it. I got to step away and refill my coffee, Pops. I will be right back.
Sure.
They can only say no, people. It doesn't hurt to ask, right?
Exactly. That's my thing too. That's why I shotgunned it and I asked everybody, was because what's the worst that's going to happen, you know?
Yeah, the coolest part is that dude right there.
Mm-hmm.
The dude between Slash and Axel.
Yep. I don't know what you're talking about.
He looks like Drew McIntyre from the WWE. he just looks angry, you know.
I even asked Jack Black and Tenacious D to see if they'd want to do it. But again, I didn't really expect an answer. But like you said, as a hunter, I always believe in the phrase, you never shoot anything unless you put lead in the air. And this way, I took my shot, and what's the worst that'll happen? They'll come in for an expansion. You know, they'll see all this, and they'll come in for the next one.
Yeah. And we really need to get the word out on this one, people. So I'm going to drop the link to this in the chat as well. God's Metal.
Yeah, I can't do the chat postings here. But speaking of the comics, before we go on further and until Doc gets back, I do want to say this. These guys, Meta, are the people that are doing the art for the Slaughterville book. Real good stuff. If you like the anime manga style, I hope I'm saying it right. If I'm not, I'm probably not. But they've done all of my books and never had an issue. They're real quick, and they always are accommodating. Again, so if this is your style and you need somebody, reach out. Yeah. Oh yeah, look, they even have advertisements. That's cool.
Where the heck?
Nice.
They just had your book.
So like I said, if you need somebody, reach out to them, tell them I sent you. Not that I get anything out of it. I just don't care. I just want them to know that we give a damn, because I really do appreciate what they've done. So there you go. There's that.
That's too weird. I just had Slaughterville #2, and I can't find it right now. It's like, I just had it. Where did it go?
Yeah, somebody asked me today, did you send out 3 yet? I'm like, dude, do you know what I just did? Well, again, you know what I'm saying, Doc, with this.
Mm-hmm.
I added like 3 or 4 more pages to the end as an epilogue.
Right.
Because I want to keep the story going.
Sure.
And so, but it also sets up spin-offs, future writings, future books. So, like you said, we're always thinking about the next 15 things.
Always. I mean, there's something in the mind of creators that we're never satisfied with what we're doing right now. We're always thinking 10 steps down the road, you know. Always.
That's why I couldn't find it. It was in that stack of books I had during the show-offs.
Oh, okay.
I had that big old stack of books in my hand during the show-offs. This is the Slasher, Slaughterville #2. And I just read it again.
That's the Mark McKenna cover. But yeah.
I just read it again, and there's a lot of lore. There's a lot of lore involved in these stories because Chris sets the stage for each one of these stories that also has a, what do you call it? RPG? No.
Oops, sorry.
RPG books.
Yep, we have the RPG books. And the way I did these was I wanted the board game to be, the player's story, right? So I wanted the comic book to be, this is how it would be if I were playing the game. This is my story that I'm going through.
Now,
and then the RPG is, this is everybody's story.
What I wanted to point out is that this story is actually in the core rule book for the RPG Slaughterville game. Okay, so you can actually play your version of what happens with the slasher when you go to the campsite, right? But you have some lore in here that would help your story. It will help make your story better because if you've read this comic, then you know some of what they've already discovered about the slasher, and you have some background knowledge as an investigator, like what that Dante and Karen go into these as an investigator. So having read this, I'm gonna have fun when we do the slasher RPG game. You see what I'm saying? I already have some idea how it's supposed to go down, and then I get to throw my own little curveballs at the GM.
No, not you guys.
We have a blast, and Chris is a most generous game master. He pretty much allows us to
I like to
have
have
fun and go, places he didn't plan on going. I tried to go upstairs in the asylum. He's like, there ain't no upstairs. Oh, come on, man. I'm looking at the stairs.
Didn't exist. The stairs were broken.
But for the most part, he's like, Karen is, not Karen, Laurie playing Karen is very, very special character.
She embodies that Karen. Like she's been living it.
And Chris is kind of like me. We're kind of like following her through this story because she's just such a demanding presence as a Karen. Mm-hmm. It's wonderful. It's freaking wonderful, guys. We're
every Friday at
10 a.m.
10 a.m.
10. Tabletops at 11 on Thursday.
Yep.
RPG is at 10 on Friday. And they're both a blast, guys. And we always have a couple spots open for the tabletops. If you want to join us, right on. Lou's like, I was not even aware I was into RPG until Slaughterville. And
nice. That makes me feel good.
Look, and then she dropped art because this avatar right here is part of a much bigger picture that she drew. Mm-hmm. Look, guys, this thing is fun. We have a blast.
And the Scooby Snack thing.
Yeah. I mean, we just have a blast on that show. So if you ain't doing nothing on Fridays, you want to check it out. Not only that, but the chat keeps it lively. They're cracking jokes. They're making off-color suggestions. And yeah, it's a blast. So there's things to watch. That's what we do. What do we got here?
So these are a few pages now these are the low res versions that I wanted to share. So if you remember from earlier, we talked a lot about Bubba. Mm-hmm. He's the big bad of the cannibal rednecks, and something happens that he was killed, unfortunately, because everybody loves a good cannibal. So he was killed and buried on the farm, but something happens that now he's back.
Now he's a cannibal redneck zombie.
Yep. Comes through, introduces a chainsaw to somebody's chest here. You got some wolves, dogs going on. Oh, this is a giant undead scarecrow that you see earlier. She's throwing fire on. Now, like I said, this is the black and white. It's in full color, all that kind of good stuff. But yeah, Bubba comes back.
Looks good. Looks good.
And he's actually fighting this pig demon guy.
And the first two chapters of Slaughterville have been great. Playing the game is fun. Playing the tabletop is fun. It doesn't matter. Whatever Chris has going on, guys, if you haven't seen it, take the time to check it out. Because everything that he's presented in front of me, I've had a good time being involved with. Whether it's playing the games or, reading the books, promoting the books. This is fun to hang out with. Look. We went to a con together in South Carolina. Don't neither one of us live in South Carolina. Just saying.
It was a drive. We were not far from Doc, right?
No, we weren't.
We were down in Georgia.
Well, I mean, it's a pretty big state. You were 3.5 hours away from where I'm at.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
But not far from where my buddy Tanner is.
Yeah, because we met Tanner that
I was going to say, he was there, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's a mother and child underneath the sacrificial altar. Are they going to get out alive? I don't know. I mean, I know. But
I don't know. He knows.
I got yelled at by Laurie Too
many spoilers.
It was well deserved. Yes. Oh yeah, spoilers. She knows me, but she knows not to even bother anymore with the yelling about spoilers thing, because I'm going to do it anyway. I was so upset at the end of her first book, because of what happens, and then she turns around and she goes, "Didn't you kill a little kid within the first 2 pages of your first book?" Yes, I did. I can't yell at you. I can't be upset anymore. Yeah, yes, I did. And it was just a casual thing that I didn't even think of it. Not that I'm a psychopath much. Maybe more of a sociopath. As a professional, you understand where I'm going.
I'm a well-trodden path.
Right?
You know.
Those are the best kind.
Not always.
But yeah. we have a heck of a lot going on.
What's in the box, Chris?
Got the amp. I like the amp with the Marshall
You
font.
did a good job with this campaign for sure.
I try. But you'll get the base game that you've seen us play for $20. You spend more than that on coffee. Then the expansion with Christgau, that's another $10. We get all new bands, and I'm just gonna, you know what? I'm making this game because I love it and because I want it. If you buy it, great, fantastic. It'll make my day. But either way, at the end of the day, I'm still making this game because I want to play it, and that's why I'm going to add these new bands in. We have a third band called Gore Titan that we unlocked as a stretch goal because I wanted to stretch goals low so that we unlocked more stuff. Because I love this thing. And lots of reviews. And we're going to I'll probably, even if we don't hit things, me, I'm probably going to throw stuff in there. But if you like something that's, it is a difficult game. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. It's difficult, but you're gonna have fun with it the whole time. From the references to working together, sharing cards, being a backup singer for somebody else. It's all about working together as a band.
And you got to, and of course, you got to have your actual metal soundtrack playing while you play the game.
Well, what I did, and I get it. I'm a dork. I make board games, people. Come on. What are you going to expect? Right? But what I actually did was, I'm going to bring that up. Not only do these things line up perfectly, stop screen, present, share, window, but I wrote lyrics for each of the parts of the songs so that when you put the songs together, no matter which ones, beginning, middle, and end, you will have a complete song that you can. And I've had people actually sing the song out. So I do that just for the giggles of it because I think it's cool. And I hope you enjoy it too.
Heck yeah. So like, Chris, when I'm writing a damn dirty thing or working on it, I keep kind of this long saxophone jazz noir playing in the background. Mm-hmm. But I've got a whole playlist of metal that I play when I'm working Pariah. And it's on loop because they have to, in some way, either through their musicality or the lyrics, they have to connect to Pariah. So it's not a long list, but it doesn't matter. They're all good.
The thing I found, and you can tell me I'm wrong, or maybe you have different experience, but the things we listen to while we're doing the writing, it actually feels like it gets infused into it and it makes the scene. Like you can feel that in the scene.
Damn sure does. Damn sure does.
Yeah, look, everything art is supposed to elicit an emotional response.
Mm-hmm.
If you can get your music and your visuals, like music videos, there's tons of music videos. There's only a few that stand out as that guy put thought into that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I look at Tom Petty's videos. All right. You Got Lucky, the ones where he was the Mad Hatter and shit. There was thought. There was production value in those short films. It wasn't just girls in the background dancing. You know what I mean? There was thought involved. I liked that they took their and they made them into little short films.
Yep. Yeah, when I was writing Elizabeth Payne's bio, her statistics, just filling her out for myself on loop, only two songs. One was The Lady Wore Black by Queensryche, and the other one was Bringing on the Heartache by Def Leppard. You know, misty-eyed and shady lady, how you hold the key. It's like, and that infused my creativity to bring her to life.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Gotta have that emotional content. Gotta have it.
But I usually keep this thing. I mean, it's a cheap, you know, nothing fancy. But I've had this for years, and it's, believe it or not, like you were saying, it's helped me get in that mindset.
Sure.
Whether it's a story or whether it's just something you need to get into this thing, and it's helped a lot. And it's, I fully encourage experiencing as many different forms of art as you can.
Amen to that. Art is art. Art is art. It's going to come out. If you're an artist, it's going to manifest somehow. And it's even way back. Arthur Conan Doyle has Sherlock Holmes say to Watson, because Watson didn't know anything about his family. He said his aunt, somebody or another on his mother's side, was this artist over in France. And he says, art in the blood will manifest itself in peculiar ways, referring to himself as a detective. And I went, yes, Arthur Conan Doyle gets it. Art is going to come out. You're going to paint, you're going to write, you're going to draw, you're going to make music. You're going to express that art somehow.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. I found out early I can't draw to save my life. But writing and doing the games thing seems to, it's just what I do.
And you do it well, sir. You do it
I
very
appreciate
well.
that. I'm 90% sure I'm a vegetable, but you know, I appreciate your saying.
The hardest part for me is having all this stuff, this slaughter bill stuff that I can't read yet.
Oh yeah. You're
Okay,
not allowed to.
because I want to read it all, but we haven't played those stories yet. So it's like, I kind of cheated. I read Slasher because it was part of the core rule book I was proofreading, but you know, I've been avoiding proofreading the ones we haven't played yet because I don't want to know. I want to play the game and you know.
Sure, you want to experience the surprise of it all.
Yeah, we have a good time. Like I said, Laurie, if we knew ahead of time, if we had read this stuff ahead of time, these games would be much different.
Yeah,
you know, you'd be.
And I'm glad you didn't.
Yeah, exactly. You'd be influenced by what was written as opposed to going out and experiencing it. I like to experience games. Okay?
Let me ask a question here, Chris.
Sure.
When someone backs your campaigns for the games, what do they get?
Well, depending on which game, it's my. I know you get cardboard, you get dice, you get all of this stuff, but my real thing that I want to give is the experience of you being able to tell your own story. The thing, right. Again, I know I'm giving you the poker-sized cards. I'm giving you the game mats. I'm giving you all of this when you purchase it. But what I'm really looking forward to giving you is, dude, I took the stoner into the asylum, and he got captured by the nurse. And if you're telling those stories later, that's all I ever want.
Right.
So I'm not a proud guy. I don't look highly upon myself, but somebody said to me once, I have a whole shelf in my house dedicated to you.
Oh,
I've never felt like I still get friggin' goosebumps from that because I that's just, I'm speechless for God's sakes. And that never happened.
Yeah. You see, that's what happens like with me when people want to, you know, say thank, like after the stream the other night with Steve Stern and Bill Moss, and they're like, thanks, Pops, you do so much. And I said, man, I'm just giving you guys back something that you to pay you for what you've given me all my life, which is good entertainment. Don't stop. Please don't stop. You know, that's why I started doing this. You know, it was to help people, and I have a blast doing it. Now, I do want to play the video for this.
Do it.
Definitely. The one we have in the stock one is the same thing, right?
As this one that you see here?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I sent you the exact.
Here you go, people. It's Gods of Metal.
An ancient darkness is breaking through into our reality. The overlords are coming. Their demons united, they'll stop at nothing to tear our world to shreds. And the only thing that can stop them is the power of metal. You have been chosen by the gods of metal to lead this crusade of finger-shredding fury. You must write the sick riffs, craft the awesome lyrics, find unholy rhythms, and set the heads banging. Show the overlords that their darkness is nothing compared to yours. Gods of Metal is a co-op deck-building game for 1 to 4 players. You and your bandmates must work to create the most powerful band in human history. Find mystical instruments of legend, outlandish costumes to improve your powers, and recruit mascots to help you battle the overlords. Find the power of pure decibels and use them to destroy your enemies by crafting songs that will literally blow their minds. Form a band. Save the world. Gods of Metal. Now on Kickstarter.
Now on Kickstarter.
Yep.
Here you go, people.
That Laurie Kagan, the guy that made that intro, I'll recommend him all day. He's never steered me wrong. Yeah.
Kagan
Productions, yeah.
Productions. I like that.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty funny. I got a kick out of it.
All right. So, look, guys, you got games, you got comics. Chris is bringing it. Right? He's bringing it on many levels. Collaborating with other people in the madness like Doc to bring even more.
Finally, cool Doc has come back.
Oh, shit. All right. So, this is how it goes, guys. We go from one thing to another. You know what I'm saying? This one launched the other day. You guys been hearing about it. You know about it. We've been talking about it for a long time. It is the supplemental to Pariah Blood and Mud. It's the side stroke.
So when I first saw the title, right, I always knew it as a damn dirty thing, you know. But then when I finally got to see the cover thing, I saw it was a Pariah story, and I'm like, wait a minute, Pariah was the guy. How does this fit in?
Well, I'm glad you asked me that question, Chris. So, Pariah Blood and Mud and the subsequent books of the Pariah trilogy, there's only going to be 3 of them, is the story of Elizabeth Payne. And Elizabeth Payne is a young woman who was witness to a mob murder. And she tried to do the right thing, go to the cops. The mob found her. They had their way with her all night long, slit her throat, left her for dead. They should have made sure, because it turns out Elizabeth Payne is descended from an ancient lineage of powerful witches. And so she's coming back for her revenge. Now, in book 2, her book 2, we start seeing these horrific killings taking place of Russian mobsters in the fictitious town of Solomon City. And in that book, she comes into contact with a mysterious detective named Jake Bishop. And he plays an integral role in the next 2 books. And I thought, he needs to hit the ground running before the second Pariah book. So I decided I would do a shorter book for him. But in doing so, I found my groove. It's like, I am in love with this world. I am in love with noir, the telling of the stories. Fortunately, Pariah is set in the same world visually. The visual cues are all there. You don't really know when or where, but you can tell by the way that people dress and talk and act that it's not a right now kind of thing. So anyway, I jumped in, I wrote A Damn Dirty Thing, and I loved what I wrote. I loved what I've been drawing. So then I decided it still needs more. So I wrote a novella, expanding the story, because this one is so short. There's just so much more to the story. But so Pariah, there's a publishing order. It was Pariah first, Blood and Mud, then this, A Damn Dirty Thing, then Pariah, Sanctum of Hate, and then there will be another Jake Bishop book, and then there will be the third and final Pariah book. But then the Jake Bishop story, that's going to keep going until they put me in the ground, because this is my jam. I love these characters. I love this world. I love noir. So yeah, that's my jam, baby. So we launched the book, and it's been doing well. It jumped up pretty quick, but there's always that first burst, and there's a lull, and but I don't want the lull, because if you scroll down, the stretch goal at $4,000. If we get to $4,000, we're doing a full-on audio book of the novella, not the comic book.
Right.
And I've got some of the best voices in the community coming on board to voice the characters and give them life. Also, if you look right there, Jake Bishop's business card, that card is actually part of the story. Where
I left a message this morning, Doc.
I
did it while I was live on Through the Madness. I called the number.
That's a working phone number you can call, 410-449-2466. And you can leave Jake Bishop Investigations a message of a case you want him to work.
I did.
And I'm telling the chat. And we're going to pick one or two of the best, and they're going to get a little something free from me, as just, out of gratitude for your participation in this.
See, my show brought on the reason for the investigation. Because as I was going through Fund My Comic, I didn't find your campaign. So I called Jake.
Okay.
And, hey, yo, man, you need to look into this, because we can't find our campaign.
All right. So,
sorry.
No, I was just going to say, also on the card, he needed an address. Well, I knew it was in Solomon City, but the address is 442A Cook Street, in homage to 221B Baker Street, which is where Sherlock Holmes famously resided, which is not a real place, by the way. But over in England, if you go to the fictitious, there's an actual Sherlock Holmes' study is there. Even the so-called zip code of Solomon City is a personal Easter egg, 3 Whiskey 05 Alpha. That was my first billet number when I was in the military. So I thought I'd use it. But so the whole idea with this book, boys and girls, pay attention out there, chat, is I didn't want to fleece anybody. So the comic book, you can get it for $7. The novella, only $9. Everything else is just lanyap. Bonus material. So, get your hands on this thing
And
get
no Doc Blalock campaign will ever be complete without a coffee mug.
Yeah. And my publisher, Anthony Romano, and I have fought over it. We fight all the time because both of us want the best bang for the buck.
They were fighting last night. It was fun. I got to watch.
Yeah. I wanted the coffee mug to just be Jake Bishop on a plain white mug, his as if he were giving mugs away in his office for his investigative services. But Anthony's like, we'll do that on one side, but we got to put the name of the book on the other one. And we fought and we fought and we fought. And I let him win because it's the only way he can win is if I let him.
Right.
But he persuaded me. He persuaded me.
And I saw that the comic is 7.
Mm-hmm.
The novella is 9. But if you get both, it's discounted.
Yep. Only $15 to get both.
Yeah. Can't beat that with a stick.
How can you go wrong? If you just want to get the digital tier, it's only $4.
Exactly.
PDF. So the 2 top tiers are Damned If You Do and Damned If You Don't, which I thought was clever. That's Anthony Romano at work. So Damned If You Do gives you a catch up on Pariah, Blood and Mud, a tapestry. You'll get both Jake Bishop articles or items, which is the
coffee mug, everything. Yeah.
The novella, the coffee mug, 2 sketch cards from me. And then we're going to have a print of Portia Vance that's, I think, postcard size. Kind of like we did with the Golem. I can't reach one right now, but it'll be the same kind of thing.
What do you get for Damned If You Don't?
Just the Jake Bishop stuff.
Okay.
So no Pariah stuff, but everything else is the Jake Bishop stuff.
See, that makes sense.
And I'm glad you answered because that was actually going to be one of my next questions was once the Pariah part of it is done, are we going to see more of Jake Bishop? Because I know people get attached to characters, and I always like these kind of noir detective styles, and it's good to know he's going to live on. Let's put it that way. We're going to get more, even if it's flashback stories.
Well, no, he'll the next 2 books for Jake Bishop. The next one is called Blood on the Bricks, already written, ready to go.
Nice.
The one after that is called Justice or Something Like It, and it's already ready to go. And there's a 4th one that I'm probably halfway done writing. I'll try to keep these around 20 pages, but I will probably also write a novella with each one of them. I want the dime store novels. Listen, I am transplanted from a different time. I should have lived in the 40s. That's my jam. The world of Richard Blaine and Casablanca and the early days and pre-World War II, or in the early days of the war, that's my jam. That's where I should have been born. So the best I can do is just recreate that world here.
So for those just coming in, they see this poster, right? Looks like a nice old movie poster. I was like, holy, that looks awesome. And then we come down, natural, detective drinking kind of a thing. But then they scroll down more and they see this. What's going on here?
So one of the things that exists in this world, and remember again, Pariah Elizabeth Payne is a witch, and they call in Jake Bishop to investigate because it turns out he's what he calls a ditch wizard. He's an untrained wizard. He just has these abilities. Even his fedora and trench coat have certain attributes that we don't delve into until we get into book 2. But so magic exists in this world. And the way I put it is this: no one here in the real world denies that there are geniuses that actually have IQs that high, or artists of such a level like Randy Rhoads, Eddie Van Halen, those ultra uber musicians. So about as rare as that are people who can do magic. The rub of that is Jake Bishop doesn't go around fighting supernatural things. He takes on everyday cases.
Mm-hmm.
He just happens to have these abilities that he can call on. Like, when he's going here after the mob boss, coming through the window or the door would have alerted his bodyguard, so he'll just phase right through the wall. He calls it shadow stepping.
Nice. That's a good action shot right here. I like that one, especially with the hat pulled down. That sells it. I like that.
Yeah, you know, the trope of the fedora and the trench coat replaces the mask and the cape of the hero, and it gives you something dynamic to play with. So when he's at rest and just talking to people, the trench coat is always closed up. But when he's in action, it's open, so I can furl it like a cape and you know, pull that hat down low over his eyes and give him kind of a masked appearance. That's a hard word to say for me. Masked.
And there's that you actually show the spring, you show all the parts, because I've seen so many people do guns where they can't. The greatest is when they show somebody shooting and you see the full bullet flying through. I'm like,
yeah, that's not how that works.
No, it hurts me a lot, but to see it done right is refreshing.
I didn't want to break all the components down, like the spring is not to scale or whatever.
Right.
But I was like, just like with cars, motorcycles, guns, anything, there are aficionados out there in the world, and if you don't homage it enough, you're going to hear about it from them.
That's right. Okay. Hey, I can't wait to get I backed a bunch, and I can't wait to get this.
Well, I hope. Thank you for your patronage, sir, and I hope you enjoy it. I'm confident you will. Especially, like, let me throw this out there. If you like Casablanca, if you like Maltese Falcon, To Have and Have Not, The Big Sleep, and the Philip Marlowe movies, of course. If your fond memories of your childhood tuning into TNT or Turner Classic Movies and watching those old movies on a rainy Saturday or a Sunday, then you're going to love this.
It's all action.
When we're off, I'm going to send you a series of books that I have been, I guess the nice way to say, enamored with. And I think it would be right up your alley. So, I mean, if you're into it, I'm going to send them to you.
Okay. All right.
Send you the link.
So the next thing I'm producing, however, is going to be Mr. Laughing Rogue's noir game, Scene of the Crime, doing the art for that. So as soon as I finish production here, I'm on the last page, drawing the last page of A Damn Dirty Thing. When I send it off to Anthony Romano, he and I kind of have a deal. Once I send it, no more changes, because now he's got to format it for print. But we all know how that works. I call him up and go, wait, I got to change something.
Yeah. I think the funniest was when you said to me, it's not sequential, is it? I'm like, no, it's just cards, baby.
Yeah, man. And I'm looking forward to doing them.
Go nuts.
Yeah, it's going to be a hoot, man. Looking forward to it. So anyway, I'm looking really forward to A Damn Dirty Thing. Our funding goal is there, but this is a open storefront. It's kind of like being in demand. So if you buy the book, you're going to get the book, whether we hit the stretch goal or not, or the funding goal or not, you're going to get your product. But I want to get to that 4,000 so we can do the audio book. Now there's a little clip of it here. But let me throw a disclaimer out there. This was not professionally produced. I just did a little reading of it on a live stream. Anthony downloaded it and added some effects into it. So we can listen to them, just maybe the first few paragraphs, and then we'll stop.
Sounds good. You tell me when.
Money. It's always about the money. There was no movement in Morelli's official banking records, but there was absolutely no chance he was living low. Not Morelli. No, wherever he had planted himself, he'd be living in luxury, and that means money. When the mob moved money off the books, they did it through shadow bankers. There was one such individual used by the Italians, the Irish, and the Russians, and God knows who else. Whitey Doyle. If you needed money moved off the books, Doyle was your man. He operated out of a legitimate pawn shop in the business district of Iron Heights. Doyle's was the place to go if you were a whisper away from ruin, where the last shreds of dignity could be pawned for a breath of borrowed time. That's good enough. I park around the corner and so that high-pitched whine, which you may be hearing now, is my stupid webcam mic does that. But for the book, my son owns a sound studio. I'm going to go up and professionally record my part. Each of the other voices will record theirs similarly, and then Anthony's going to engineer it all into one story for us.
It's really funny. My nickname in high school was Whitey. Wish I were joking. I didn't understand what it meant then. You look like a Whitey. I'm like, all right, cool. That's just what I was then.
Right on. Yeah. So one other thing for the chat. I want to know if people are actually paying attention in chat.
Mm-hmm.
Wake up, chat. Talk to me. Because as we always say, we were just talking about, it's always about the next thing.
Mm-hmm.
So after this is fulfilled and I'm working on Scene of the Crime for Laughing Rogue, the very next thing that comes out from my studio, which is Rampart Studios, here's a little teaser for you.
You always do so darn well on these trailers.
Oh yeah.
I wish I could get
what they were working on last night in the workstation. It was pretty cool watching them put it together.
Yeah, I do the raw, and then Anthony adds some effects and some edits, and we come up with a pretty good product. So in the meantime, though, boys and girls, if you haven't yet, you can back this baby. Today, only on Fun My Comic.
So, I'm going to ask you something, and it's an oddball question, which again I'm known for. You've mentioned before we do these circuits all the time, right?
Yes.
What is a question that you wish somebody had asked you?
That's a good question. We were talking, one of the things you get, you don't get tired of it, but it becomes very rote to be asked the same questions about your projects over and over and over again. And you start finding yourself delivering rote answers. The elevator pitch was kind of a thing going around last year. I don't have an elevator pitch for you. I can talk about this book for hours, but one of the questions that I did get asked, or I should say it was a comment, Kirby, I'm talking to you, you're a fine art painter, Doc. Why didn't you paint your comic book?
Mm.
And I'm like, well, because it's impossible in the style that I paint. I'm a very heavy-handed, plein air impressionist painter. My brush is wider than some panels in comic books. So I can't do that. As a matter of fact, I can't even.
Can you imagine how big that comic book would be?
That's what I'm saying.
I'd love it.
His panels would have to be, because he's from back here. He's painting back here. Woo, woo, woo,
Yep.
woo, woo.
When I'm painting, I'm standing at arm's length. I'm using a 1-inch brush, a 2-inch brush. And it's big motions, you know. None of this that we do in drawing. These little tiny little drawings. That part is it's frustrating when you're working that T90. You know, when you are trained as a plein air impressionist, and you just want to go, oh! But the one other thing, and there's already an NDA in place, but this is not going to be the novella, the comic book, and the audio book may not be the only version of A Damn Dirty Thing that's going to come to life. I'll leave that to your imagination.
I don't know nothing. Nothing.
Nope. I honestly don't know anything, but
Mr. Bishop. I don't know nothing.
Yeah.
I don't know nothing, Mr. Bishop. I don't know nothing.
So, who were some of your big influences for this?
Well, for
Pariah in general.
It's going to sound strange when I say Tom Clancy. Tom Clancy wrote a book called Without Remorse, and it's the story of a Navy SEAL during the Vietnam War. He's already served. He's out. His wife tragically dies in an automobile accident carrying his unborn child, and he's just been a shell of a man for months. And he stops and he picks up a hitchhiker. And long story short, he ends up falling in love with her, but he finds out along the way she was a mule for a drug ring and a prostitute. She gets clean, and she wants to come forward to the police and kind of tell what she knows about that drug gang. And they find her, they kidnap her, they shoot him, leave him for dead, and they murder her. Now, imagine for a moment the nightmare that the drug dealers must begin to experience when a trained Navy SEAL decides he's going to take every fucking one of them down in the most creative ways he can think of. And so that got me to thinking about, just out of nowhere, I leaned back after I read it and I went, what if they did that to a witch? And that was the impetus. And so then I began, my writing style is always so weird. I began fleshing out the character of Elizabeth Payne. I immediately knew what I wanted her to look like. I knew the flavor of the world I wanted her to inhabit. And then my writing is always dialogue pops in my head first. A piece of narration, a piece of a conversation. And then I ask myself, who would have said that to this person? Who's the person they're talking to? Where are they when this conversation takes place? And a scene is born. And then I start fleshing it out from there. But my influence for this book was 100% Casablanca. Now, the story is nothing like Casablanca, but that's my all-time favorite movie. And the beauty of how it is shot in black and white, where the lighting is telling as much of the story as the dialogue is. It's just always fascinated me. And I wanted to see if I could kind of bring that flavor to the printed page. So that was the goal.
Nice.
And what kind of car is that, Doc?
It's a, I have a name for it. I forget the name of it, but it's kind of a blend between a 46 Ford and a 48 Mercedes, for the whole reason that I don't want car aficionados telling me what I got wrong and what I got right. So fuck you. I just made my own car.
I was going to say the same thing. Yeah, it's much better to have your car than somebody saying, "Oh, the fin should be 12 centimeters higher." I'm like,
exactly. The oil sending unit on a motorcycle isn't there. Well, all right. If I make my own motorcycle, I'll put it wherever I want to.
Exactly.
But the other thing about this, and I forgot to say it, is this world is parallel to our own in that it's modern times. They have all of our technology. They just call it different things. A computer is called a data type. The internet, they have another name for it. But the aesthetics of the 1940s were perfection, and they never saw a need to improve on it.
Nice.
So they just kept it where it's at. Other than the men don't wear their pants pulled up to their nipples. So, you know.
What?
Yeah, I couldn't live with that.
A Ford Mercedes Benz. Sorry. That was pretty funny.
That's good. Let them suspenders down, boys. Let them down.
It's as bad to me when I was watching Key Largo, and it shows the guys in the movie, and their pants are pulled up above their belly button, you know. Their ties are really short.
Mm-hmm.
That's as bad to me as modern men wearing their pants down on their waist, lowrider, like not sagging. That's a whole different stupid. But it's like modern human beings don't know where their waist is, and they all look like that character from The Big Bang Theory. What's his name? Wallowitz, who wears his belt across his pelvic bone instead of above it where it belongs. And it drives me freaking nuts.
Some people have more pelvic bone than they have ass, though. They don't have a choice. Strap their pants to it.
Yeah, the high-waisted pants are nightmare material. They are. And there is a scene in Key Largo, and I think it's the gangster. He's shaving and then he gets dressed. He's pulling his pants up. He could almost just hook them onto his nipples.
Nice.
And, he ties his tie, and the tie's about that long. It's like, come on, man.
Yeah, I don't get it. I never got that. Anyway, guys, I want to talk a little bit more about this as far as you hinted, Doc. There's other avenues this could go. And man, it would be sweet. I'm just saying, it'd be sweet to see a whole bunch of stuff get taken to the next level.
Wouldn't you love to be able to go to a theater or on television or whatever and see your very ideal stuff that you like without a message or an agenda, once again, to be able to just immerse yourself in that. Like, you think about Indiana Jones, not this last two abortions they did, but the real Indiana Jones, that world he lived in. You want to be there. You want to know Indy. You would want to run around and have those adventures with him. I miss that about modern media. Whether it's a book or a comic book or a movie or a TV, it doesn't matter. I miss it.
I look at things like Slaughterville, and I'm like, every one of them stories could be a season.
I already have scripts written for a web series, so it's in the plans. I just didn't want to. I didn't say anything yet because I don't have actors yet.
Well, but this is what I'm saying. It's like, there's so much cool stuff in the indie nation that could be taken to the next level. But you guys, look, it doesn't happen if you don't do it. It doesn't happen.
That's well said. It doesn't happen if we don't do it.
Yeah, a lot of people, Doc. And I want to say that tell me to shut up. It's okay. You're not going to hurt my feelings because I'm an actual man and I don't have those. If you were to do a series, like a show, would you want it to be animated or live action?
I want live action. I'll say
then
this.
who would,
Look, Sin City did a good job of being noir, but it was noir with this just over the top violence, and gore.
Right.
Let's dial that back. Let's just make great noir. You know what I'm saying? That's where I would want to be.
Yeah. Now, who would be your ideal lead? You had unlimited money. Who's your ideal lead?
I got asked that question 2 days ago for the first
Oh,
time.
I'm sorry.
Well, no, I haven't answered it yet because I don't know. The Elizabeth Payne character, physically, she's a combination of a younger Jennifer Connelly and Alana Miles, the girl that sang Black Velvet when she was younger. Both of those, just very beautiful women. So I envisioned that as I was drawing, but I have no idea. Like I don't know who in the world would do these roles because I'm just not up on Hollywood. So I need the chat to tell me that. Hell, I might do a contest on a show one Wednesday when I'm doing mine, and that's the best.
Cool. Cast the damn dirty thing.
Yeah, the best cast for a damn dirty thing. Matthew Creaky says, "How much is reasonable for a 28-page indie comic, not including the cover?" You mean you're making the book, and how much should you market it for?
Yeah,
I would say for 28 pages, you don't want to break the bank, but you want to be able to pay your talent. So if you're the artist and writer, you can sell for a little bit less. If you've got to pay others for their talent, their time, you got to do a little more. I would say try not to go over $15 to sell the book.
I'll be right back, guys.
Sure.
All right. Yeah, the cover price, I would put it around $15 for 28 pages. What do you think, Chris?
Yeah, at most I would be. I've seen some people going as high as 25, but that's I wouldn't. If you can get it down to $5.99, absolutely go for it.
Yep. Yeah, the cheaper the cost to the customer while still delivering quality, the better.
Yep.
Absolutely.
That's why I put my because mine's like 68 pages, and I put that at 15.
Yeah, see. Yeah, retail price. Yeah. Yeah. Of course it's acceptable. It's just the question is, can you produce it for that amount? And if you're having to pay talent, can you afford to pay the talent, the inkers, colorists, writers, letterers, editors?
Shipping, manufacturing, all of it has to come into account. You don't want to forget anything and
Correct.
be left out. Sorry.
No. I remember I was doing comics back in the 90s. And but I was just one part of the process. I was the penciler. And this was back when we operated off FedEx and long distance phone calls, right? What no internet. And I would get the script on my desk and I had to start work immediately. And I had to crank out about a page and a half a day and then throw it in an envelope and send it on to the inker and on and on and on and on. Well, that publisher was having to pay every step of the way along the way every month to keep that book going. And I worked for more than one, but it never dawned on me, Matthew, until I was doing my own book, that there's a hell of a lot more to making a book than just drawing the thing. Right on. Current printer will charge $260 per issue. All right. And then out of that, if you can afford your artists, writers, go retail, they're going to take 60%. So just call it your overhead. The idea in any business is always maximize your profit, lower your overhead as much as possible. So I don't know where Pops went, but I'm going to pull this down. Okay. And it's getting close to time to wrap.
Yeah, I have another show soon, and
and I've got dinner waiting for my fat ass. And by the way, over my shoulder right here, Chris. Yeah. If it's a good product, people buy it. Over my shoulder right here, Chris, is the chair of shame. The chair of shame is when I leave clothes in the dryer, my wife will not fold them. She just drops them in that chair and says, "Here's your clothes." Like, I don't want to fold them. Why can't you just leave them in the dryer? Because in a perfect world, the way this would work would be you do your laundry and you leave it in the dryer.
Mm-hmm.
When you're getting dressed in the morning, you just turn the dryer on for a few minutes, heat everything up, knock the wrinkles out, put them on. It never even has to leave that room. But no, my wife wants to be all organized. And
I think it's a them thing because before I got married, I didn't have dressers. I had the pile of clean, the pile of it's all right yet, and then the no, that's got to get washed.
Yes, exactly right. And if I absolutely wanted to put stuff away, I just hung it up.
Right.
If I can't put it on a hanger, whatever.
Yeah, the floor's fine.
Yes, it's the chair. Always the chair.
Exactly, the chair. Yeah.
You don't like you wear only wore this shirt for an hour today. Well, it hangs on the chair as long as it doesn't touch the floor. It's all good.
Mm-hmm. It still counts. It still counts.
That's right. It's still clean. Touches the floor, it's got to go to the wash. All right, I think we're going to wrap.
Okay.
Pops had to step away for a minute. Matthew, thanks for popping in. I hope to see you around. It's the first time I've seen you, so I hope we see you around in the community. And if I can help you with anything, let me know. Always happy to help. When I first came in here 2 years ago, even having done comics before, I didn't know anything about crowdfunding or whatever. And I was just overloaded with questions. And I was blessed to meet good people that were willing to help me and answer those questions and give me a little guidance in the direction I wanted to go. I will never forget a Lazmat helping me to find my, I could not find the sign-up list, the mailing list on Indiegogo. And people kept saying, do this, and do this. I couldn't figure it out. A Lazmat sent me screen captures shot by shot. Do this, and do this. And I was like, oh, thank you. So a Lazmat, shout out to you. Eternal gratitude. All right. We're going to wrap this thing up here. Let me play us out of here.
Look, I don't mean to be rude, but I'm tired of talking to you.
And don't think it hasn't been a little slice of heaven, because it hasn't.
Well, what do you know? I finally got the last word.